In this video, we're going to be taking a look at different external storage devices and which one will actually be best for you. So to kick things off, I think we should just start with the slower option, to be honest, and that is just a typical hard drive like this one. This one is a Seagate external desktop hard drive. The benefits for having a hard drive like this one is that for a relatively low price, you can get a lot of storage. This model has 20 terabytes of storage, fit a lot of stuff onto here, and you won't really expect to fill it up. How this device works is that it's just your typical hard drive, which is in a metal or plastic enclosure with a disk inside. There's an arm that writes onto the disk itself, either adding ones or zeros, which then stores your files and documents onto that disk. The negatives of using something like this is that it is quite heavy. They're not particularly a light device, and you don't really want to be carrying them all the time, especially that this one that I have here, you have to connect to a power socket all the time. The hard drive is also a bit more vulnerable to breaking, so you don't really want to be shaking this thing around or taking it with you everywhere. It's really a device that stays at home, stays in one place, doesn't really want to be moved around, because you don't want to risk the arm hitting the disk and preventing it from breaking or missing any files. So this is definitely something more for a desktop setup. You would just want to use it to occasionally move files between your computer and the external storage itself, because the speeds of this isn't fast at all. It does about 150 megabytes per second, which isn't terribly slow, but compared to other solutions that we're going to see later, it is very slow compared to them. So this device would really be used to archive bigger projects, bigger files that you maybe won't be touching every day, but you know you might want to access later on in the future. Then something like this would be a great option to have. If you're liking the video so far, please could you go down, give it a like, and maybe even a subscribe if you want to see more content similar to this in the future. The next option that you would have instead of choosing a hard drive would be SSDs. And what SSDs do is that they have NAND flashes in them, and the information that you store on there is electronically stored. So not like a hard drive where you actually write it on a physical disk, but now you're actually digitally writing it onto a NAND chip itself. And the benefit of these chips is that they're a lot smaller and they're also a lot faster as well. These models that I have on me now, the T7 model, goes up to 1000 megabytes per second read and write speeds, which makes accessing files, transferring files very quick and very easy to use. And if you know you're going to be accessing files for especially on a daily basis, then something like an SSD similar to these is just a great way to store all of your information. And for video editors, this is really an entry-level point for where you could start working on projects where they're very fast to use, so you're not going to have any problems with working on any type of project whilst editing. They're very small and very lightweight, so if you wanted to travel around and still edit your videos or edit anything else that you might be needing to, then this is very easy to carry compared to a hard drive. But compared to the hard drive, you'll get a lot less storage. Pretty much with these SSDs, you're trading in capacity for speed. That's the difference between the hard drive and the SSDs, is that these are way faster and they're a lot easier to access. But most of these models start with either a 1 terabyte model and go up to a 4 terabyte model, which is quite a lot less than the 20 terabyte hard drive that we just saw, but it's very quick information. So working on them on the daily would be a great option to have. And the last option, which is a bit more professional to be honest, and a bit more niche, would be a NVMe SSD enclosure. This one is an OWC Express enclosure, which can hold an SSD inside and get really fast speeds. Most of these enclosures are a little bit larger than an SSD, but you're able to customize how much storage you want and is user upgradable. So if they ever come with a higher capacity NVMe SSD, you could just replace out the old one, put in a new one, and then you have way more capacity in the same device. The speeds on the enclosure are quite a bit faster than on your normal SSDs. This enclosure is a Thunderbolt 4 enclosure. This means that for MacBooks that have Thunderbolt 4 ports, you can transfer up to 4 gigabytes per second with them, whilst newer models of this enclosure can now do Thunderbolt 5 speeds, which is literally double the speed. So theoretically, it should be able to do around 8 gigabytes per second. In real-world testing, this case actually does around 3000 megabytes per second read and write speeds, whilst the upgraded one does around 6200 200 read and writes, so definitely twice as fast, but also it's super dependent on the type of NVMe SSD you use and how much cache there is on the SSD, because that will be heavily dependent on how well this enclosure will perform, will be based onto that SSD that you buy. So yeah, that's pretty much all the different types of external storage that you could use for your type of workflow. And of course, the best one for you is really what type of workflow do you need. I'd say the hard drive is definitely more for something you just want to archive, not really be able to access every day. So something like family photos, and you can just keep it on the hard drive and you know that you have a secure place for your files. An SSD is way more for daily use and daily access really, because you want those quick speeds to be able to access your files. And the NVMe SSD with the enclosure is definitely more of a professional level of SSD where you can access your files even faster and get work done even faster on that. Some people also want to use the NVMe SSD as a boot drive. So instead of having the operating system on the computer itself, they would actually use the operating system that is on the external hard drive. And that just shows really how fast these drives can get. Now, of course, in this climate lately, this is insanely expensive. Any one of these that you look at is insanely expensive. For example, the hard drive that I only got this in November, which cost me 380 euro at the time, which I thought was still pretty expensive, but for 20 terabytes, it's pretty decent. Now I've seen this exact same product go around for 530 euro, which is an unbelievable increase in price for what it is, to be honest. Not just the hard drives have actually increased in price either. If you take the SSDs, for example, the T7 shields that I have here. This one I bought for around 240 euro at the time. If I look now to buy them, they're going for around 750 euro. Due to the AI companies buying out every chip that you can imagine, which is pretty much 3 times more expensive than it used to be when I bought this drive, which is unbelievable. And I have no idea when the prices will come down, and I would hope soon, because this thing, I don't even have an NVMe in this. I've bought the enclosure because I got it at a good price, but now I'm just waiting for the prices to go down. Yeah, just waiting for a drive to be able to buy. Because if I wanted to buy an NVMe SSD for this thing right now, 4 terabytes, I'm looking at 500 euro, which is unbelievably expensive. I was going to look into an 8 terabyte version because I've already got a 4 terabyte. I might as well get something a little bigger. And that thing was going to go for around 1,000 euros. So the prices have just shot up like crazy. It's very difficult to get into external storages these days, but they are good devices to use. And if you need them, you need them. If you already own like devices like this, I would definitely just look into finding ways to be able to optimize the storage, find ways to be able to delete it or maybe zip file it, because you're going to need as much storage as you get, and especially if you're close to filling up any of these and you don't have anywhere else to put any data, then just look for ways online to really see how to optimize all your space and how you can really utilize these devices even more. So personally, how I use these devices is that the core of my storage is actually the T7 Shield drive. I just edit straight off of this drive because it's the fastest drive that I have currently. It gives me good speeds and I access it pretty much daily. So it's just necessary to have the fastest SSD that I can have to be able to edit my videos on. Of course, I will eventually be switching to the OWC drive, but I'm waiting on that SSD because the prices are too expensive. That will come, but for now, in the meantime, I think the T7 is a great option. Once I'm done with the videos and they're all finished off, all uploaded, and I don't really have to touch it anymore, that's when I actually switch over to the hard drive where I transfer all the files onto it. It does take a very long time, of course, because it has those slow read and write speeds. I mean, over a terabyte could take about an hour and 20 minutes or so. It takes a long time, but once the projects are over onto here, then I know that I don't need to touch them. But if I want to refer back to a video at some point, then I know where they all are. So it's just very safe and easy to keep everything in one place, and the 20 terabytes for me is going to be more than enough for now. So thank you very much for watching this video on just explaining what type of external storages there are and what type of external storage might be best for you, because you might think you might need something fast, but you might not need it at all. So you don't want to overprice for something that you don't need. Please give it a comment and a subscribe, as that just really helps this channel a lot. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.